Have you ever stood in your yard after a seasonal windstorm, looking at layers of dry leaves piled up, with just one familiar thought in your mind? Let's sweep this away and be done with it. I've met many people like that. Some families even gather the leaves and burn them, just to make everything disappear as quickly as possible. But then the smoke rises, the burnt smell spreads, and that uncomfortable feeling lingers. The leaves are gone, but the problem isn't. I remember a time when I was just as confused. There wasn't much kitchen waste at home. No vegetable scraps, no fresh grass, just dry leaves. I asked myself, can you even make compost with only dry leaves? Or is it simply impossible? That question wasn't just about gardening. It reflected how we face many challenges in modern life. When conditions aren't ideal, we give up. When we don't have good ingredients, we assume effort is pointless. But the truth is, many sustainable values begin with things we consider useless. Everyday household waste, when understood and handled properly, doesn't just reduce environmental pressure. It opens the door to a different way of living, slower, more intentional, and smarter. That's when I realized those dry leaves weren't trash. They were a story waiting to be told. A simple question with a deep root. Can you make compost using only dry leaves? I've heard this question countless times, from beginner gardeners to families living in city homes. Open quote, "We don't have kitchen waste, only dry leaves. What's the point of composting?" Close quote. Some ask out of curiosity. Others ask with a tone that already sounds like giving up. They're used to seeing compost as a hot pile of kitchen scraps, steaming, fast decomposing with that very specific smell. So when there's no green material, they assume they don't qualify to start. But nature doesn't run on a single formula. In the forest, no one carefully mixes vegetable scraps with fresh grass at the perfect ratio. Leaves fall, layer upon layer, rain slowly seeps in, fungi grow, worms appear, and over time, rich forest humus forms. That is compost, not hot, not rushed, not complicated, but steady, resilient, and balanced. Composting dry leaves is simply a different path, slower, quieter, one that relies more on fungi and soil life than on fast-working bacteria. Experts often call this cold composting. It's ideal for urban living, households with little kitchen waste, or places where leaves are seasonal. And more importantly, it teaches us something fundamental. The issue isn't lack, it's misunderstanding. Before day one, preparation decides half the outcome. One common mistake I see again and again is this. People pile up dry leaves, water them, and then wait for a miracle. 2 months later, the pile looks almost the same, just damp, musty, and disappointing. And the conclusion is quick. See? Composting dry leaves doesn't work. But the problem isn't the leaves, it's how we treat them. Dry leaves are structurally tough, rich in lignin and cellulose. If left whole, microorganisms have very little access. Shredding or crushing the leaves isn't optional, it's essential. I once ran a simple experiment. 2 compost piles side by side, one with shredded leaves, one with whole leaves. After 60 days, the shred pile was darkened and noticeably softened. The other barely changed at all. Moisture is another misunderstood factor. More water doesn't mean better compost. Leaves need moisture like a wrung-out sponge, cool to the touch, but not dripping. Too dry and fungi won't grow. Too wet and air is pushed out, suffocating the process. At the beginning, the temperature stays close to ambient. That's normal. If you expect a pile of dry leaves to heat up like kitchen waste compost, you're setting the wrong expectations. Here, we're not forcing nature, we're moving at its pace. Day 15, when the pile begins to wake up. Around the 2-week mark, many people start to worry. The surface still looks dry. Nothing obvious is happening. Open quote, "Did I do something wrong?" Close quote. I've heard that question more times than I can count. But if you reach into the center of the pile, you'll feel the difference. The core is slightly warm, not hot, just gently alive. The smell isn't unpleasant. It's like forest soil after rain. And if you look closely, you'll see thin white threads spreading quietly through the leaves. This is mycelium, the fungal network capable of breaking down the toughest materials in dry leaves. This moment matters. A gentle turn helps release trapped air, prevents compaction at the bottom, and brings outer leaves into the active zone. Don't flip it aggressively like digging soil. Think of it as helping the pile breathe. Many people skip this step out of fear of messing things up. In reality, this is where thoughtful intervention makes a real difference. A small secret with big impact. It's not about watering more, it's about watering the right place. When compost seems slow, the instinct is to add more water, but excess moisture usually makes things worse. The trick is where the water goes. About every 10 days, I gently split the pile into two halves. Nothing fancy, just opening a gap in the middle. I spray water onto the interfaces where biological activity is strongest, then close it back up. This keeps the core evenly moist while the surface remains airy. The results are clear. Stronger fungal growth, worms appearing near the bottom, and a noticeably shorter process. It's a perfect example of doing less, but doing it right. In compost and in life, it's not about working harder. It's about working with understanding. Day 30, when transformation becomes undeniable. After about a month, even the most impatient person starts to see change. The pile shrinks by roughly a third. The leaves, once brittle and sharp-edged, are now softer and darker. That forest floor after rain smell becomes unmistakable. Life shows up quietly. Springtails appear. Sometimes young earthworms settle at the bottom. This isn't random. It's a sign that the compost ecosystem has stabilized, with different organisms supporting one another. People often ask me at this stage, should I add anything else? Usually the answer is no. Now is the time to resist rushing. The most meaningful transformation is happening at a level we can't see. Day 60. First results and a shift in perspective. 2 months in, the original pile of dry leaves has become something entirely different. A chocolate brown material, crumbly, soft, slightly moist. A few leaf veins remain, and that's perfectly normal. This compost can be used right away, as mulch around trees, soil amendment, or to revive tired garden beds. It won't push plants to grow fast like chemical fertilizer or nitrogen-rich hot compost, but it builds foundations. Soil holds moisture better. It becomes looser, more breathable. Plants grow stronger in a sustainable way. What's interesting is that by this point, people stop asking, can it be done, and start asking, why was I in such a hurry before? Composting dry leaves, a lesson in sustainable thinking. Unlike fast composting, leaf composting has no strong smell, needs fewer inputs, and requires less intervention. It's like a miniature philosophy of green living. Slow down and let nature do its work. It's especially suitable for older gardeners, households with little kitchen waste, or urban homes with rooftops or small yards. But more than that, it suits anyone willing to rethink value. Not everything slow is inefficient. Sometimes, slowness builds the strongest foundations. The stabilization phase. The step beginners often skip. If you let the compost rest another 30 days, bringing the total close to 3 months, you'll get a noticeably different product. Finer, more uniform, almost like moist coffee grounds. Most importantly, it's safer for young roots. Many beginners skip this phase, thinking the compost is done. Experienced gardeners know that curing is when compost truly becomes biologically complete. That's the difference between usable and excellent. Looking ahead, compost in the age of AI. We live in an era where AI can measure temperature, moisture, analyze data, and optimize farming systems. Yet no matter how advanced technology becomes, the foundation is still soil, fungi, and microorganisms. Manual composting isn't outdated. It helps us understand natural systems at a depth technology can support, but never replace. Those who understand compost today are the smart growers of tomorrow, blending traditional knowledge with modern tools. The real value of dry leaf compost in daily life. Leaf compost doesn't feed plants fast, but it steadily rebuilds soil. It improves moisture retention, suppresses weeds, loosens clay, and helps sandy soil hold water. Most importantly, it creates healthy soil systems where plants thrive with less constant intervention. And perhaps the greatest value isn't the compost itself, but the shift in mindset of the person who made it. When you can look at a pile of dry leaves and see potential, you begin to see life differently too. If you recognize yourself somewhere in this story, start with what you already have, even if it's just a few dry leaves in your yard. And if you want to keep exploring practical, realistic, and sustainable ways of living, subscribe to the Compost channel. We'll learn, practice, and change together, slowly but deeply enough to create lasting impact.